Hey, well, since we all know each other, or Curtis, you're actually like the new kid on the call now. Um,
I know, right?
so the first thing I want to do is I want us to write down. Think about this. Think about a list of all of the teams or bands or clubs. I know this. For some of us, this could be. For Curtis, it might be like 1,000 clubs you've joined in your life. But make a list. Like brainstorm for a minute. Clubs that you've joined, teams you've joined, or organizations that you've joined in your life. Right? Write that down. Jot those down. That minute was brought to you by my little green timer. Did you hear it beeping? I gave you a whole minute. Isn't that generous of me? I'm just giving away time today. Just giving it away. All right. I would love to hear. Now, Curtis, how many did you write down?
I have 10.
Oh, wow. That's great. That's really great. Would you share? Why don't you circle three of those that you joined when you were an undergrad? Can you pick out three? And then Melissa, how's your list looking?
Small.
Small's good. You're dedicated though, I bet, right? You're dedicated to the small list. Hey Olivia, how about you? Four. Hey, will you share just tell me what's on your list if you don't mind, if you're willing to share with all of us.
So in high school, I have forensics team and cheerleading and what's called seeds.
Uh-huh.
And
Tell me about
then
that. What was seeds?
um it was basically like a diversity group that would go around to the younger schools and teach them about any kind of things that, like, the principal would tell us there's bullying in the school. So then we'd make up skits about bullying and trying to teach them, like, how it would make people feel and then how they should react and act to people instead of bullying. And then, like, just different skits like that. And we never used like names for people. We were all different colors instead. So
Oh, you individually as team members were colors?
yeah,
So you were never Olivia in front of the younger students?
yeah,
Were you always the same color?
yeah.
What was your color?
Green.
Yeah, so you are green.
Yeah.
Did that nickname stick with you beyond the group of seeds?
No,
Like friends from seeds wouldn't see you around town and be like, "Hey, Green, what's up?"
no.
All right, all right. I was kind of curious. That sounds like a really nice organization. Melissa, how about you?
Uh, Tattoo Teens Against Tobacco Use in High School.
Wait, say that again. Tattoo?
Yeah, Teens Against Tobacco Use.
Oh, okay, okay. A team. Oh, against. And what town was that in?
Durand.
Durand. Still Durand. That's where you live now.
Yes.
Right. Okay. What else you got?
Um, Facebook community services called Feed My People. I'm not sure if you've heard of that. I'm sure Curtis has. Um, it's a they help provide families with food for the needy, basically.
Great. Do you know if that's a Wisconsin or just a regional thing in your area?
I'm not sure if it's, but it's down in Durand. It's in Eau Claire. I think it's based out of Eau Claire.
Okay, great. Are you still a member?
Yeah. Right now with COVID, it's hard for me to volunteer due
Right,
to that.
right. All right, Curtis, let's hear yours.
Um, One I wrote down was hall council when I was in my undergrad. So I was an RA and a hall director. So working with all the students within the res halls and dorms, come up
Right.
with
So,
events
right.
and
So an RRA means resident advisor. So you were like
resident
you were like
assistant.
were you like a peer counselor? I mean, I'm trying to define it for anyone who's never been in a residence hall. You know, an RA is like the camp counselor for your same age group, right?
Yep, it's a good way of putting it.
All right. What was your second one?
Another one I did, I worked with the River Falls High School with their marching band. So I helped out with choreographing with their color guard as well. So that was a group of high school students that I kind of looked over and advised.
And you did that as an undergrad student at UW?
Yep.
That's neat. What was your role in high school with marching band? Color guard?
So I did played saxophone, alto saxophone, and then I also did color guard as well.
You played the saxophone? That's so cool.
Yeah.
Oh, I played the saxophone too. So we're just finding things we have in common today. This is very exciting, right? Right? Oh, by the way, Olivia, in my summer camp that I work at, we're broken into two colors, green and gray. And at summer camp, I'm green. I just want you to know. Yeah. And Melissa, I appreciate your anti-tobacco group in high school because I bet it was friends of yours that got me to quit chewing tobacco in college. I had roommates that dipped skull and cherry skull and wintergreen skull, and I never did before. And then, sort of when it was just around me and other people did it, you really are influenced by the people you spend time with. Um,
Definitely.
and yeah, and then when I didn't live with that group anymore, I didn't chew tobacco anymore. So it's really that's a testament to the importance of choosing your friends, or realizing the influence that they can have in your life. All right, so with those, go ahead and pick one of those groups that you wrote down. Just pick any one randomly, and then maybe do an extra circle around it. And then answer this question: why did that club exist? And can you answer this question about the club? When did that club start? Like, how much do you know about the history of the club? Do you know if there's a founding member? And for RAs, it's probably going to be different. Like it's going to be like the school started it, but like for tattoo, was that a teacher who started it? Was it a community member who started it? Was it a student in the high school who started it? So thinking about those things, think about what you know about the history of the organization. Curtis, which one did you choose?
I picked the RA, but like I said, I kind of broke it down into hall council as well, since that's different organizations within the
Okay,
res
great. Yeah,
halls.
yeah. Well, let's get that. And the hall council gets more specific. That's good.
Yep.
So Olivia, which one did you choose?
My seeds group.
Seeds group. Awesome. And then Melissa, which one did you choose?
I chose Feed My People.
Feed my people. Okay. Now, think about this. How did you hear about that group? How did you hear about that group? Think about how you heard about that group.
I believe it was through friends.
Okay. And Olivia, same thing. You're nodding. You heard about it through friends. What about you, Curtis?
Heard about it through my RA before I became one.
Okay. And the other two were friends and friends. Okay. So the question that I had earlier, do you know who started the group or when it started? Not hall director. That one's that would be a tough one. You could maybe look back in
Yeah.
there. But Olivia, what about seeds?
I think it was just by a teacher during school, and more so in the diversity area where they have a lot of Hmong students
Oh yeah.
that go there, and there's a teacher that can speak both languages that help them learn English a little bit better.
Uh-huh.
And
Uh-huh.
so,
And Melissa, do you know anything about the history of Feed My People?
I know it is founded out of Eau Claire,
Right.
but I don't know when it was started.
Okay. And Curtis, any idea when the hall director, when the hall council started at UW River Falls?
No, not a clue.
Okay, good. No clue, which is good. And I would say the same with Melissa has an idea about where it started, right? But not who or why it started. Maybe the why of Feed My People is implicit in the name of it, right? Because that says exactly kind of what the club does. Seeds, seeds could be a farming club. Seeds could be a gardening club. Seeds could be a fertility clinic, right? Seeds could be so many different things, right? And so I'm sort of trying to understand why now.
so the reason why they called it seeds is because you're planting a seed in the younger children's minds of how to be a better person.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Right, and your ability to explain the name is really important, right? It's really important to understanding um, your role as an ambassador for the club, right? So, and by ambassador, so our country, the United States of America, has ambassadors around the world. Like we have an ambassador in Paris, France. We have the ambassador to France. We have the ambassador to Canada. They are representatives of the United States living in other countries. So they are representing the United States of America. Now, you all, in your different roles in those clubs, serve as ambassadors to those clubs because you are an extension of that group. You are an extension of that group. And that's why I like to call us all brand ambassadors, right? We are the brand of Seeds, the brand of the Hall Council, the brand of Feed My People, because each of those Seeds, does Seeds or Feed My People, do either of them have a logo?
Yes.
I can't remember, but I think so. We had a T-shirt, so I'm assuming.
All right. What was on the T-shirt?
I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't remember, right? And Hall Council, Curtis?
We just pretty much made up our own each year.
Yeah, new one every year, but it was always
Yeah.
called the same thing,
Yep.
right?
Correct.
Now, think about this. In each of those, now just grab your pen. If you were explaining to me the mission, what is the mission of that club? Right? What is the mission statement of that club? Can you write it? Can you put it into words? And you don't have to write perfect sentences. Just jot a couple words down that help you understand what the mission is of that club. Right? Because we kind of know why the club exists and we know how you heard about it, right? Two of you heard about it from friends. Curtis, you heard about it from your previous RA, who I would consider probably a friend. Right? So
Yep.
all three of you heard about the clubs that you joined from friends. All right. What was the mission? I think you sort of already explained this, Olivia, but go ahead and repeat it again. The mission of Seeds.
Change the action of people.
Change the action of people. Does that mean change the action of volleyball players?
Sure, depends on how
volleyball
they're
players-
acting towards each other.
Change the action, but what specifically, what sort of change are you looking for and what kind of actions are you changing?
Changing negative actions into positive.
Oh, cool. Mission is changing negative, and this is working with youth.
Yeah.
All right. What about Melissa? What's the mission behind Feed My People?
To provide food for people who are in need.
Awesome. And Curtis, what was the mission of the Hall Council?
I'd say to create a community of diverse students, to connect them with each other and the college.
Cool. Now, ask yourself this question. Why did you join that group? Why did you join the group? Write down a couple reasons why you joined the group. Why did you join your group? All right, Curtis, you can go first this time.
I thought I was required to, so I showed up the first time and then I kind of got hooked on it. So I drink the juice, I guess.
Oh, you thought that one of your responsibilities as an RA was to also be on the Hall Council?
Well, so I was on Hall Council before I became an RA. So when my RA started second semester at UW River Falls, so I missed out on the first semester. I had no clue what I was doing. My RA was like, "Hey, come downstairs, Hall Council." I'm like, "Okay." So I showed up and kind of got hooked. And then once I did become an RA after that, then of course, Hall Council just came natural.
Just felt right. All right. So
Yep.
that's good. That's good. Okay, Melissa, why did you join Feed My People?
Well, there's three reasons. Um, I've been there. I've been there in my life before.
Okay,
I like to help others and be supportive of people's needs.
that's awesome. Thanks for sharing. And Olivia, why did you join?
Just to build confidence in being in front of people, and then to make some friends and to just spread the kindness.
Oh, that's cool. So it's interesting that you said even last week that one of your goals was to build confidence. So you've been building your confidence for over a decade, right? Because you're a non-traditional student, right? Because you were on the waiting list for your current program for 9 years.
Yeah.
What year did you graduate from high school?
Oh, wait.
08, right? So you were in the club called Seeds more than 12 years ago. And you know that by joining the club, you actually built your confidence by spreading kindness and being up in front of people. Isn't it cool to know that your journey is still like we are always in evolution?
Yeah.
We are an ever evolving creature. We humans are ever evolving and ever improving, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just to say that, like, I think it's cool that you said you wanted to build your confidence in high school, and the other day you said you wanted to build your confidence by being part of this, by being part of a leadership team on campus, which is super cool, and it is a testament to us like taking that as something like we're never done learning, right? We're never done growing, right? We're never done learning. We're never done growing. All right, so here's the why is it important that we understand why the club existed that we joined? Like I think it's easy to see that we joined things because our friends introduced us to it. Like we get introduced to music by friends, we get introduced to new foods by friends, we get introduced, but when you join something bigger than yourself, right? Why are you joining it? Because you don't join all the things that your friends do. You don't join everything your friends do. You're not always into everything they do, right? So why do people, this is more of a overarching question, why do people join clubs? Make a list of reasons why anybody would join any club, any organization, whether it is a soccer team fan club, whether it is the Miley Cyrus fan club, whether it is the Hall Council, Seeds, Tattoo. Why do we join Facebook? Why do people join clubs and organizations? All right, Olivia, you looked up first. I'll give you a chance to speak.
To feel a part of a group and just to stay connected.
Uh-huh. To feel part of a group and to stay connected. Awesome. All right. What do you got, Curtis?
I said the same thing pretty much. Get connected. That's kind of one of student life's missions or things
Yeah.
that we always talk about.
Right.
So I think
Right.
vague enough that it covers a lot of areas.
Right. People join groups to feel connected, according to Olivia and Curtis. Melissa, do you have something in addition to that?
Sense of community, building friendships, and networking.
Right. Friendships, community, and networking. Awesome. Now, none of you said that you joined for the actual mission of the group. None of you said that people actually joined the club because of the mission behind the group, right? But you don't join every club that your friends are into, do you? So the mission still matters. The mission, the reason for existence of the organization still matters to people who join clubs, right? Even if your best friend's part of a crazy equestrian club and you are scared or allergic of horses, you're not going to join the club no matter what their mission is because you don't want to be around horses, right? So thinking about this, what are you a part of right now? And how does this tie into the things we've been talking about? Well, for Olivia, what we talked about last week with personal branding, your personal network, your ability to meet new people and to grow your sphere of influence, right? If this topic today is about recruiting people to join our club, what are people attracted to join our club? What's the first thing based on our answers? Why did you join the club? Every single one of you joined because of
Just stay connected and being part of a group.
Yeah. If you remember, I wrote down your answers. Everybody said friends.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it is. They can be part of a group, friends, right? Now, when you grow the number of people you know, you create an opportunity for other people to join your group because you've made yourself available to more people. So this is the whole idea about you self-promoting to know that you, Melissa, and you, Olivia, and you, Curtis, are worthy of self-promotion because of the qualities. Because last week we talked about the qualities of a friend that you exhibit. We talked about the qualities of a team player that you exhibit, and that you are so worthy of promotion because you're going to make a huge impact in the world because you're going to change other people's lives, right? The number one way to recruit people to a club and an organization on your campus is through you, right? So it's your own personal branding, you getting out there in the world, you sharing of yourself because you're an ambassador for the things that you're a part of. Right? If you've chosen to be part of Feed My People, then you are an ambassador for Feed My People. If you're out there actively wearing the T-shirt that says Seeds, you are the ambassador for Seeds. Right? So this is what I tied into last week with social media. Is everything that you're doing in your life to help promote and be a good ambassador for the organizations that you're a part of. Right? We talked a little bit last week about a social media audit. And I don't think this group has any problem with that. Like a social media audit is when you have to go and remove things you've said in the past, right? When you're like, ooh, I shouldn't have said that, or I shouldn't have shared that post. Remember, your personal brand is directly tied to your groups and the clubs that you belong to. So now moving forward, what is the awesome thing that you have the ability to do on campus? And Olivia, I know this is your first semester, but even in your major, there's going to be a club or an organization just around your major, but there's all these other opportunities on campus. And I don't know if you've had a chance yet, or you, Melissa, have had a chance yet to see all the lists of clubs and organizations that exist at your school, right? Curtis knows all the clubs. Now, is it possible right now, Curtis, while we're chatting, for you to go, because I know there's probably a master list on the website, right?
There is.
If you could just click that, copy that link and put it in the chat. because I think that Olivia and Melissa, especially with their new confidence in this platform, are really going to be able to help whatever club and organization they join. You're going to be an asset to every single one of those groups that you're a part of. Right? Melissa, you are going to make every group that you're a part of better. I mean, you already make your family better, right? You being in your own family, you make your family better. By you living on the street you live on, you make your street better. By you being a member of your community, you're making your community better. Remember last week you said that you wanted to work on getting out into the community more and meeting more people. Even though you grew up there, you're still consider yourself a shy person, but you are so worthy of promotion because of all the good that you can put in the world. Right? And it is unfair to keep yourselves from the world. It is not fair for you to keep yourselves a secret. Right? Oh, good. In the chat, Curtis has put the link to all of the different clubs and organizations. Thank you.
Yep.
Right? So this is really exciting for both Melissa and Olivia. You know what? It's funny. I can't get into it because I'm not a student. I can't see it. No fair. It's in the Cvtc thing.
Yes.
So Jason Lavasser, as a tourist, is not allowed to see the list of clubs. Right? Now, here's the thing. So you are going to leave an amazing legacy. Because right now, Melissa, I can't remember. Are you a first semester student?
I'm third semester.
Third semester, right. Have you been able to join any clubs on campus in the last 2 semesters?
I could if I just have to be able to put time into it. And right now, time is very limited.
Right. Absolutely. With 7 children and studying and all of the responsibilities that you have, understandably. Right?
I would have, if I could pick one that didn't take a lot, if I had more time, it would be HIMT Club, because that's my program.
Oh, okay. That's the health
And
info?
yeah. Health Information Management Technology. And both the advisors are awesome in that whole course.
Uh-huh. Well, is there a way for you to, I bet your advisors would be willing to work with you to have you as a, maybe not taking on a role that would require you to attend every event or every meeting, but you could at least have a peripheral attendee role so that you could share your opinions at certain events, right? Maybe ask the advisors that question if you're able to go to some of the meetings, but not all the meetings.
True. I can ask Chris Bignall.
Yeah. So this is the best part. You already know the name of the person that you need to contact, right? And you already have a relationship with them because you've already said they're wonderful advisors.
They're my 2 teachers.
Oh, good.
My instructors.
Yeah. So in this current year, with your current schedule, your involvement with that group is only going to make that group better. Right? Now, here's what I'm going to ask you to really be thoughtful about it. Because you're such an awesome person, you're probably going to be asked at some point to take on a leadership role. And this is where I want to advocate on your behalf, and you can practice now saying no. Right? You can say no, because you are going to be somebody that everyone's going to want to be on their team, right?
Yes.
But if you generally don't have time to commit to a certain level of commitment, then you don't have to. And when you're honest with the advisors about that, they will be absolutely understanding of it. But if you think you can be like a 25% member or a 50% member, I absolutely believe that they would rather have you at that level than not at all.
Right.
Right?
Thanks, Trina.
Yeah. And the more time you spend, Melissa, with that group of people, you again are growing the number of people you know, and you are growing your influence on campus, and you're growing your network. Right? Even if you can only go to 1/4 of the events, even if you can only go to half the meetings, whatever it is that you can do at your level, every time you go there is an opportunity for you to promote yourself, right? And that self-promotion is another opportunity to make a new friend. Because every time you go somewhere, you're going there knowing that you're promoting you. You're promoting the authentic you. You're promoting the person you are in the world. and we've already established that you are an awesome person, right? So anybody that you come into contact with, you're going to have a great impact in their lives. So I encourage you to jump into that club when you can and at your own comfort level. And Olivia, what are we thinking? First semester, the whole world is out there. You're in a new town. Let's think about this. What is one of the best ways to meet new people?
Well, I've been going to all the open labs as many times as I can just to be
Awesome.
around people. Even
Awesome.
if I can't, like, so I'm in ultrasound, so we do scanning. And
Yeah.
even if I can't be the person scanning, just like asking, hey, can I join you guys and watch you guys and learn stuff from you? Because that helps them
Yeah.
to be able to do better at scanning if they can teach someone while they're doing it.
Right.
And I joined it's called DMS Club, so my program club.
Yeah.
And so we have to do these Zoom meetings, and I put myself out there and ask questions every once in a while or give an opinion,
Yeah.
which is not like me to do, but
Right. It's scary, right?
yeah.
It brings a little bit of anxiety. But how cool is it that you're like we said, you're still breathing, right?
Yeah.
You're still breathing, you're still alive, and every time you do it, it gets a little easier because but I'm not saying that the anxiety is never going to go away. Public speaking or speaking up in a new group where you don't know anybody is not easy for anybody. But again, the more and more you practice that, the more they're going to recognize you for being genuinely you, and that your questions are really honestly curious, right? Because you're trying to get better at the field that you're going into. Now, when you look at the master list of clubs on campus, and this goes for everybody, there may be clubs that you see on that list that you've never thought of before. Right, so we already know that you have the hobby of motorcycles. There might be a motorcycle club. I'm not sure, right? But if there's not one, there's no reason why you can't start one. Right? That's also the beauty of being on a campus, is that with consultation from Curtis, right, is that you could start a club that doesn't exist. Like if there's something that you're interested in learning or doing, right, that you could actually start a club. What are some of your other hobbies? I know that you're into motorcycling, and I know that you were a cheerleader in high school, and that you're into ultrasounds. But
I just like being outside and hiking,
okay,
camping.
yep. Is there an outdoors club of some kind, Curtis?
No.
Hello, we have the new president of the hiking club. So imagine this. So I'm brainstorming with you now, Olivia. In all of your spare time, because I know you're going to have tons, being involved in your major, is that the first Saturday of every month, you have a hiking group that goes on day hikes, right? And that you coordinate that through the Office of Student Life or Student Engagement, the office that Curtis and Elisa are part of. And the cool thing about that is if you come up, and I don't know the specific details for the campus, right? You have to have a mission statement, probably, bylaws. You have to find an advisor, or maybe Curtis could help you find an advisor. And then you are the flagship outdoors club. You are the flagship founder of the outdoors club on your campus. And even if it doesn't start this fall, right? But you start brewing that idea and you create a place where, here's a crazy idea, people find connection and community doing something that they like to do together. And who created it out of thin air? Who created something out of nothing? Olivia did, right? Who created something out of nothing that changes other people's lives? Think about it this way. A year from now, two people are going to meet in that club and they're going to get married. Right? It could happen, right? Isn't that amazing? Right? It very well could be you. It could be, it very well could be someone else.
Already married.
Okay, it should not be you then. It should not be you.
I hope not.
I hope not too. There's a detail that we didn't know about you. I don't ask that. I try not to pry too much, right? But your partner in the world can maybe enjoys the same things, right? And your hiking club can be one of those things where you can bring a friend who's not a student, right? And you are inviting other people, but you're also have this ability to expose other people do something they've never done before. Maybe you're going to recruit one of Melissa's kids when they're a first-year student at the school, right? In a couple years, and then you come back in 5 years, and you're like, the Outdoors Club is now the most popular club on campus. And who gets the big oil painting on the wall in the Museum of Outdoors Club? It's your face, right? It's awesome, right? So this is why the clubs and orgs and the teams is such an important part of what we're doing, because you know that you are, just by being here, we feel like we're part of something else, right? And there's so many other students who are not here today, right? Who are sort of missing this opportunity to make this connection. Like, yes, we come because we want to share ideas, but really, we kind of come because we just want to be together, right? This is an opportunity to not be alone with our kids or alone with somebody that we see all the time, right? This is also an opportunity for connection. And knowing that, you can also create these moments for other people, right? This is an event. This is event hosting, right? What I'm doing right now is I'm hosting an event. And you have now seen the potential and the possibilities of making connections on this platform. You don't have to be in the woods on a hike with somebody to learn about them and to make a connection and to make somebody feel good, right? So, and this is kind of interesting because you're both as students just getting your feet wet in the area of clubs and orgs on campus, which is very exciting. Right? We think, why do people join clubs? They join because they're friends. Their friends are part of the club. Now, if you are somebody who's worthy of promotion and you get out there and you make more friends, you're going to change more people's lives. And you know that the best recruiting tool to join any organization is, according to this group, friends. But it's also very important to understand why your club and organization exists. The mission behind your club and organization. So let's pick any of the clubs on campus, Curtis, and is there a struggling club right now on campus?
A lot of them, I bet.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure.
Oh, yes. All of them right now are struggling.
And since you've got this amazing brain trust of people on this call, I guess their struggles are probably on a bunch of different levels. They're having struggles having events. They're having struggles recruiting new members. They're having struggles even keeping their members attending their meetings, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So there's definitely things I've done in the last 3 weeks that have made our Zoom calls more engaging. Today has been way more conversational, right? We haven't done one breakout room. We haven't done one activity. We've been talking the whole time. Right? But what are the things that you can think about moving forward? And this is something you can share with anybody else that's in a club. If you can think about last week even, because that's more fresh in our minds. Can you think about some of the things that I do very intentionally to keep everyone engaged in a Zoom call?
You say our names, you put ours, like a scenario with us in it. I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's great. You can keep brainstorming. Now, it's ironic that I asked you to do it without writing it down, right? So this is something that I do very intentionally, and I encourage all of you to do it. Is that whenever you are running an event, and especially if it's on Zoom, and you're trying to get your team involved, and I will again, this is another like sort of advanced notice of next week, which is more team building, right? Is how do you get a team working together? Is that you get everyone's opinion and you let everyone know that their opinion matters. And so if you've noticed, I've always asked everyone to write things down. And when I ask you to write things down, I can see that you have an answer to my question. Because I've asked a question, I've proposed a question, I've given you time to process the question, and I, as the facilitator, can see that you have an answer. So then I can say your name. I can say Curtis, I can say Olivia, I can say Melissa, right? I can say your name, and I know that you can then have a contributing idea. One of the things I didn't do just then, what I did, which is ironic, this is a good use of irony, is that I asked you what I've been doing to keep you engaged, but I didn't say, hey, for a minute, write down all the things you can think of that have kept you engaged. Instead, I said, And see, there was a big difference in participation, wasn't there? There was a big difference in participation. So I think that's just an interesting teaching tool that you can all use. You know, Melissa, even with your children, right? Even in your family. So I'm sure you've got some kids that speak before others, and some who don't speak quite as much as others. But let's take your family as a team and say that you want everyone to feel that their voice matters. Is it you ask everyone to go grab a pen and a piece of scrap paper, and you want to know what movie everybody wants to watch, and then everybody can write down their answer, right? Rather than the loudest always getting their way, you know, and then having a democratic vote on, like, you know, the best of three. Anyway, it's an idea that really teams don't really succeed because of where somebody went to college or what titles they have. When groups of people work together, they work together a lot better when everyone is working, when everyone has a voice, when everybody feels that they have a I'll probably repeat this again next week, but most people that graduate from business school, right? When you graduate from business school and you get put on a team and you work at a new job, and you work at a new job and you're looking at your team, you are looking at ways to get promoted at the expense of others, right? So this is the kind of philosophy. When you graduate from business school, you're given all these great ideas about how to build a business and how to be on a team, except that in your first job, you are trying to outdo your team. And so it's this mentality that the only way for me to succeed is for you to fail. The only way for me to look good is for you to not look good, right? And it's really important to remember that in the teams that we have, is that in order for me to look good, you need to look good, right? Because we're not competitive. These clubs and these organizations are not competitive. We are collaborative. We are all trying to accomplish our mission together. So think about your teams. When you're on the team, you may be competing against a different team. But like when you both graduate in your field, with your degrees in health information and in the ultrasound, I know it's got the DSM, right? Did I say that correctly? Like when you graduate,
DMS.
See, yep. I just want to make sure you
That's
knew.
okay.
I wanted to make sure you knew. So when you enter into your first job, can you imagine if you looked around and you're like, in order for me to succeed, I need to make other people fail? In the medical field, right?
Well, that's a lot of how it goes, but that's not how I try to make it go.
Right. But yet, remember, this is the thing. You can be the best team member by elevating everybody on the team, right? In order for me to succeed, I want my whole team to succeed. And when you approach things that way, I promise you your supervisors will actually recognize that in you.
Sometimes it doesn't seem like they do, but
The world is unfair, right? Yeah, I know the world is unfair. Do you have a specific story you could share?
well, I mean, just I am a dental assistant and I'm always the one to teach the new people to come in. And this one girl, she wasn't doing the greatest. So she ended up moving departments, but then I ended up looking like the bad one because I'm the trainer, and not necessarily was it me that was the bad guy.
Right. And do you think when she first joined the team, so this is the thing, sometimes people join a team without really realizing what they're getting into.
Yeah.
Right? And this is why it's really important that when you are recruiting somebody, if you are the recruiter, if you're the one recruiting somebody to your club, is that you explain what the mission of the team is. Right? And so when this new person joined the team, maybe she was surprised by the amount of work that was required. Maybe she was surprised by the fact that it was a field that didn't interest her. Like, there's all these different things. But when you are out there in the world spreading the love of whatever you believe in, right, is that you're clear about the well, here's another way to look at it. What are things you know now that you didn't know then? Right? Even just a few weeks into your program, or a couple months, like, what do you know now that you didn't know then? So think about specifically in your major, not academic stuff, but more maybe work related, or the amount of homework you have to do, the amount of interaction with other people, the expectations, right? So write down right now on a piece of paper, and Curtis, this will apply to you as well. In your job, what do you know now that you didn't know then? And you can even say this: what do you wish you had known when you started? Is there just one thing, one or two things actually? Is there something you know now that you wish you had known when you started? Was it an unexpected surprise? It could be positive or negative. I'm not going to call it negative. It's going to be positive or not as positive. Notice I didn't set a timer on this one. But yeah, it's interesting. It's an interesting way of thinking about your current role, isn't it? Melissa, what do you know now that you wish you had known when you started?
How to organize my week better,
How to
so that I
organize your
get
week
all
better, yeah.
my assignments done in on time with multiple due dates.
Say that with multiple what?
Due dates.
Oh, multiple due dates, yeah. So staying organized with different classes with multiple due dates, that would have served you better if you had,
Organization.
yeah, if you had started that from the beginning, right?
I tried, but I had to change it a little bit because this semester I have 5 or 6 due dates considered over the course. And last time it was all more of the same due dates for all 6 classes.
Right. Yeah, so it's going to require more organization, but so you now know that it will serve you better to be more organized as a student. Okay, you know that now, and you wish you had known that then, because if you had started off with that mindset, it would have made the first semester easier, second semester easier. But now that you're in your third semester, it's something that you know. So now it's something you're able to control, and you're in charge of it. It's no longer as overwhelming because you now know when things are happening.
I feel like if we could know like what to do before we start the class, because once we start the class, we're trying to get into studying the stuff that we need to, not spend hours on trying to figure out how to write our schedule out and when things are due. So it would be nice if you could know like the week before when like what your whole course syllabus is going to be.
Oh, and you get it on the first day?
Yeah. And then you're on the first day you get your syllabus, and then you start right away into your stuff, you know? So it's like, well, now you need to focus on studying what you're learning rather than focus on writing an itinerary for yourself and when everything is due.
Yeah, that's interesting. I wonder, for anybody that's been teaching one of the classes that you're in this semester, and they've taught it in years past, they may already have that. And
Yeah.
when you develop the relationships with all of your professors and teachers, and that's a really interesting idea. You could ask them for that information if they have it. You can say, hey, could I please get the syllabus ahead of time so that I can organize my semester, so I can coordinate with my employer, so I can coordinate it with my kids' sports team, so I can coordinate all these other things, so that I can do it now, because I need to get my schedule in place, because I am not the only one in my family, right? And I'm sure the majority of teachers and professors would be willing to accommodate, and it will put their butt in gear to get it done. Right? So they're not waiting to the day of the first class to finalize their syllabus, right? Everyone needs a little fire lit under their bottoms every once in a while. Everybody
My
does.
course is continuing to be new. She builds the course as she goes on along because it's different from last year
Yeah.
Yeah.
because of the health information management needs to be updated every year.
Oh, sure. Yeah. New stuff comes up, right? Okay. Hey, Olivia, what do you know now that you wish you had known then? Or what do you know now that you're glad you know now, but if somebody new were coming into this major or into your club, that you could give them advice?
Uh, well, I wish I would have known that there was multiple different departments that I'm going for, and that the specific program that I'm going is not for all of the departments. So let me just break it down. Like, there's a department for vascular and abdominal and cardiac, and just stuff like that. So my specific program isn't for every single one of them departments.
And you did not know that ahead of time?
No.
So you waited 9 years to join the DMS to find out that it wasn't what you thought it was?
Well, I mean, I just know that I'll have room for growth and that I'll be going to school longer than what I expect
Oh, okay, I
if
see.
I want to work in a different department.
Right, right. So now let's pretend that you are a recruiter for this program, right? That the school actually hires you upon graduation to be their number one recruiter. So that would be something that you could tell a future club member, a future person in your major, because that is something that part of your service to your friends who are joining your clubs is to tell them the things that you learned along the way, right? This is something like, this is the idea of passing the torch of knowledge, right?
And the other thing is that we have mentors.
Uh-huh.
And so it would be nice to have know that you have a mentor like a week before the course as well, because then you can talk to that person a little bit and get yourself in gear and just have someone that you can connect with before you even start the course.
Okay, so for both Olivia and Melissa, you have a mission this semester. Like, this is your own personal mission. So Olivia, you could really encourage your entire department to do these things starting in January, right? And you can explain why it's important to give the syllabus and to get the mentor connection before school starts, right? And if that is something that you have the energy to put into, right? And in that process of doing that and talking to professors, do you know what you're doing through all that? You are growing your network of people you know, and you are staying on brand because you're showcasing how much you care about your own degree, but about the success of other students, right? And not only that, but you're practicing a little bit of being uncomfortable,
Yeah.
right? You're practicing speaking to people you don't know yet, right? So you both have really great ideas, right? Great ideas to help the other students who are following in your footsteps. This is part of your legacy, right? How are you going to leave this school better than you found it? And this is your legacy. This is what your influence is going to be. I've had so much fun, and we're already past the hour. I'm sorry. I'm just chatting. Curtis, let's share what you know now that you wish you'd known then.
I just said that it's tiring.
Right.
It's tiring.
Or your specific role, or just working in higher ed?
Well, both. I think student services people, it's not just about numbers when you're doing student life. It's about the engagement, the connections, pretty much what we're talking about today. So not only do we get invested with how many students show up, but what they're getting out of it.
Yeah.
And a lot of times that build those connections with us, sometimes students carry a lot of baggage. And since we have such great connections with them, they love to share that baggage. And sometimes we do the same thing to them as well. So not only are you thinking about your thoughts and concerns and what's going on, you're also thinking about all the students that you're connecting with from multiple programs. So it's not like an instructor knowing only a core group of students. We're trying to get everyone from the entire college and have be invested in them and vice versa. So it can get tiring. Jason has probably watched me age over the last 7 years quite a bit, but
I don't think so. I think you've gotten much broader perspective, and